All right, everybody. Um, I'm here. Let's see if Mike Cali, you joining? Let's see. This is why we don't do a live. This is why we don't do a live podcast. Mike in Manitoba. Mike Cali, I've sent you an invitation. You need to accept it. Yes, you just okay. Mike is unable to join. Why can Mike not join? There he is.
Shame man.
There is the man, the myth, the legend, the mustache, Mike Cali.
How you doing, man?
Hey, I'm doing all right. How you doing?
Good. Thank you for having me on, dude.
Well, that seems kind of formal, thanking me for having you on. Just thanks for thanks for hanging out, right?
Thanks for hanging out. Well, I mean, I figured you're right. I need to shed. I'm still in my work, my work gear. You know, my collared shirt. I gotta shed that.
Listen, it looks like you got a bathrobe on, and you're like getting ready to get into the sauna or something there. I mean, all
I'm
the
getting
wood,
the one cool wall in my house. That's all I can say.
the cool. Okay, so everybody's joining us. Let's kind of what are we doing here? Do you know what we're doing, or do you want me to explain? You want me to explain?
Yeah, man, go ahead.
So last week I kind of did a live with Jordan Delsner to kind of talk about a song that she had come out that I co-wrote, and it turned out to be so much fun. We got so much great response. Oh, there's Nita with the grandpa sweater. Look at that. So we kind of, I heard from a lot of people that it would be kind of cool to get together and talk about some music stuff with my friends. Nobody wants to hear my story, so I know so many cool writers, singer-songwriters like you, Michael Wayne Cali, and we'll explain why you're called Michael Wayne Cali. And I thought there's so many people that want to know other people's stories, find some inspiration out about how we do, why we do, how we do, where we do the stuff that we do for songwriting and music and other creative endeavors. And thought it'd be kind of cool to get together and hang out and kind of ask you some questions, and see what happens.
Heck yeah, man. When you got a friend with a voice like that, with a broadcasting voice like that, who wants to hang out and talk about songwriting, you say yes.
Wow. Thank you so much for that plug. Unfortunately, we had to go live and everybody has to see my face. They just can't hear my voice. So
we also need to say hello to Sarah. I saw Sarah comment, a fellow co-writer.
And I encourage anybody that jumps in here and sees us talking, if it's somebody, especially if it's somebody we don't know, and you have a question or something, shoot us a question and we'll try to answer it. Okay.
Yeah.
But I want to, first and foremost, I want to tell everybody kind of how we met was through, and we'll sing the praises of this app, the We Should Write Sometimes app.
Yes, we will.
I always, like, when I first got into writing, because I'm in Ohio, you want to tell everybody where?
I'm in New Jersey.
In New Jersey. So we're not in Nashville. We're not in the thick of things. So when you're not right there, you kind of have to figure out your own way. And I got hooked up with an organization called Songtown first, that's run by Clay Mills and Marty Dotson, and kind of started meeting other songwriters. And I think and it served a really good purpose, connecting me with other people that weren't necessarily in the business or in Nashville, but gave me an opportunity to write and learn. And I think the We Should Write app has kind of taken that even a step further and really facilitated songwriters being able to connect kind of on their own, and I mean, I know for me and I know for you, we've met a lot of really great people that we've written a lot of, I guess, pretty good songs, or at least
Songs we're proud of. Songs that we're proud of. Yeah, definitely.
yeah, songs that we're proud of, and created some really good friendships. I mean, I don't know how long we've known each other now, but
At least a year, man. At least a year.
it might be longer than that. It might be almost two.
Maybe.
And yeah, and it's all because of the app, and it's become, like for us and most of the people that you get to know, you become more than just co-writers. You become friends. You're basically my little brother, for lack of a better term. And so, but I would strongly, anybody that's jumping on here that isn't familiar with that app, go join the We Should Write app, or We Should Write Sometime app. Set up a profile and try to make some.
Give them a basic gist on how it works. That it's a collaborative swipe left, swipe right kind of a thing.
Yeah, it's you kind of set up a profile, and look, I'm old. I don't know anything about these dating apps. I'm assuming it's like a dating app that you young kids have grown up knowing all about. I don't know anything about them. Okay,
but with a fun songwriting take where you swipe right, WRITE, if you're if there's someone you want to collaborate with, or you swipe left if you're going to be a fit. And it's really the shift, right? I mean, in terms of connecting with several people that we regularly write with, I mean, are from this app. And actually, Sarah's name in the comments. I just was down in Nashville not too long ago, where Sarah is an artist. If you could check out her profile, Sarah Harrelson, a very talented artist and writer.
Absolutely.
And I met her on the app, and the next thing you know, we're involved with a songwriting retreat down in Nashville. So yeah, it's an amazing gift.
I mean, we've written at least one or two pretty cool songs with Sarah.
With Sarah.
The three of us. And so it is. You get to go on there, and people put up their profiles and links to their social media, and you can kind of check people out and try to connect with people that you think might be a good fit. And Nita is reminding us, as all good social media people do, that the app is free. So yes, it is free. It is free. All the fun and all the great songs are free too, right? They come out of it free.
It's amazing because songwriting could be just a hobby or something that people pursue a little bit with more, I guess, vision of making it a career, like you and I. And so you'll meet people that are writing songs for passion, and people that are writing songs to build a catalog and a career out of it. I mean, Shane is the last person to sing his own praises. I wound up swiping right on Shane. We're writing a song together, and Shane, I think it was a couple months before you told me all of your credentials. Writing with some country legends such as Tanya Tucker. I got a David Allen co-cut, and it's really amazing. And I met Shane through this app.
I'm just touched that you know who those people were, being so young.
I did my hey, listen, I did my homework.
Wait a second, who are these people? But but on the app, there's some really talented, way above my level on this app that you can come across and find. And I don't typically, I don't put a lot of that stuff out there like on the app, because I just want to get with people who just want to write. You know what I'm saying? I don't want people just swiping to write with me because of who they think. You know what I'm saying? Who they think I might have written a song with or for or something. You want it to be organic and for all the right reasons, you know. I mean, that's just how I look at it. And like I said, I feel like the stuff that you do should speak for itself. I'm not going to put, and in this day and age, if you can't go another step and look a little bit further at somebody's stuff and figure out maybe what they've done, you know, shame on you. Don't be so lazy, you know.
There's so much content coming out of Nashville in terms of how to, right? Like you mentioned, Songtown is a great resource. Marty's got some great books, Clay's some great books, and they always talk about building your class of people, right? And without being in Nashville, I mean, I think the app is definitely one of the ways that I feel like I've had the opportunity to start building a class of people, right? Of other people who are also hungry for it and trying to write as many songs as they can, and to get better as a writer. I mean, Shane, hell, I've learned so much from you, man. I mean, I feel like you really get the rules of writing. What makes a good song. We've written several that I'm proud of, and I feel really lucky to have collided with you. Yeah, I mean, I think Sarah's another example. Friedman, I connected with Matt Friedman,
Friedman,
who I've had the opportunity to do some work with all through the app. So,
which, by the way, I might add, anybody that saw any of our shameless social media plugs for this Instagram live, I put the song. Matt Friedman just released a song that you and another gentleman, Frank Vera, who's on the app, and I got a lot of good feedback about that song. And you want to tell everybody about the song? They can go check it out, because I mean, people are going to want to know, who is this Mike Cali character other than a Mustang? Where can I find some of the stuff that, So I mean, brag about that. That's a really really cool song that you guys got out.
oh, dude, thank you. Wrote it with Frank Vieira, and Matt Friedman is the artist as well as a writer on the song. It's called Best Beers Yet. We wrote it in the heat of the pandemic, and just had this concept about what are the best beers, the memorable beers that you've had in your life. And there's silly moments, like there's a shower beer, and there's your first beer, and we were kicking around the song concept and melody, and we thought it'd be really cool to put a spin on it that was really optimistic, because we were all quarantined at the time. And the spin on the song that I encourage you to go check out is that the best beers are yet to come. So the best beers are ahead. And yeah, that was a really fun one, and a perfect example. I saw someone comment about networking for the win. It's cool to see the dots connect. And yeah, that was a perfect example of, I love not only meeting people like Shane, right, but connecting people from different points in my life and my writing life. And Frank Vieira is a very talented artist in his own right and writer, someone that I met in Pittsburgh when I lived in Pittsburgh for a bit after college. I go back with Frank about 10 years, but to be able to collide with Friedman and collide with Shane, in a completely different phase of my life, and be able to connect those two, three, four people together and create something, to create something with them, it's really, it's got to be one of the best parts of songwriting,
Yeah, absolutely. Because if it's seriously changed, obviously, how you can get together and write songs, and just from the fact that we're getting together to do this, technology has really, made it a lot easier to get together. It hasn't made it easier to actually write a good song, but it's made it easier to get together to try and write a good song. And that is the cool thing. You got somebody like in Pittsburgh, somebody in Philly, somebody, Friedman's where he's down in Virginia or somewhere. Where's he at?
Friedman also Philly, so I'm
Oh, he's
Jersey,
also in Philly.
Philly. You have Frank in Pittsburgh, and you in Ohio.
Yeah, I'm in Ohio. Yeah, because we've all got together. Yeah, it's crazy, but it's what makes it kind of, it makes it a really cool experience for sure. So I'll ask you some stuff so people get to know the real mustache. I mean, Mike Cali. I'm sorry. So what was it about music and songwriting? Like, how does a guy from Philly, which has a great, rich history in music, but how do you decide that you're going to, get into, writing songs?
Yeah, man. Very slow path, I would say. Starting out as a kid, right? I would just make up things. This was before an instrument was even involved. I would hang out with my brothers and just write like little jingles. And when I say write, I mean just literally make up and start singing things, right? That just are nonsense. And the best feedback was to hear either my brothers or my mom, or I just remember in one case, pretty funny, my neighbor and one of my best friends, I heard his mom singing something that I would like sing around my buddy, and he was a little embarrassed, but I took that as the ultimate compliment, right? And these are just silly, like not complete songs, but I did that, before I even picked up the guitar. It wasn't until I was almost out of high school that I picked up the guitar in college and did the open mics and got a lot of positive feedback from friends in the dorms, and they pushed me
And
out.
the girls, just be honest, it's for girl. Once you get to that point, it's for the girls.
I mean, there's something I don't get it, but I guess girls do like the guitar and music. Not that I had any luck, not that I had much luck with it, but yeah, I did hear that folklore, so that definitely contributed to picking up the guitar. But it was also my dad played guitar, right? So that was a huge influence. He loved James Taylor and Jim Croce. Talk about Philly guys, that are Bad Bad Leroy Brown, and all those great songs that I would hear my dad play around the house. Very very inspiring. He taught me my first chords. My mom actually played a little guitar too. She taught me the first basic chords. And after high school, I gave up the trumpet. I played the trumpet, and still at this point, I did not really formally write songs. I would, again, just make up silly things, and I wasn't very good at even completing, like, finishing a song. My dad would always be like, finish a song," and I would always want to play the cool parts, and that's it. And it wasn't until later in college that I played with a band and I started learning complete songs, and started to understand arrangement and where guitar fits within the composition of an entire song. Fast forward, after college, I moved to Pittsburgh. I started playing a lot of music and I started writing. I actually took a college course on songwriting and wrote my first couple of songs. And I brought those songs with me to Pittsburgh, where I put out my first EP, a short album of 5, 10 songs, something that I'm still proud of, and I want to refresh in terms of put out new content, new songs, and that's been a part of this writing sprint that I've been on these last 2 years since rediscovering music. So I spent about 10 years, in a 9-to-5 job where music wasn't my focus at all. I developed other passions, like within the industry that I worked in. I worked in retail, and I became very passionate about, starting my own company. And I started exploring that, and that led me to moving out to Indiana. But that whole time, I kept guitar, I kept music as a very important piece of my life. It was a very important outlet always. And even when I was working on a startup company, which I quit my full-time job to pursue, playing music at wineries and at weddings and at different events became a source of income to help me fund the startup company. And the startup company was going on during the pandemic, so we had some difficult months, difficult moments that led me to kind of really turn introspectively and kind of start asking the real important questions of, like, why it is that I was pursuing what I was pursuing. And it's deep stuff. We tell stuff. We make promises to people, and we put ourselves out there and pour our hearts into certain things that don't always come to fruition, right? And that had to do with how kind of the startup unfortunately met its unfortunate demise. But I really do believe the universe works in really mysterious ways. It was around the time that the startup was winding down that a unique opportunity presented itself. Something that I feel so fortunate 2 years later now. An old friend who I knew from when I first got out of college always appreciated my music, right? It's so important to have friends that encourage us and say nice things about our craft. from a genuine place. And he was always someone really important to me in that regard. And I say it's important because creating music is very difficult to do, and especially when you're looking for people to like what you're creating. Shane, I'm talking a lot, so tell me to be quiet if I'm.
It's okay. You're carrying the load. But I do agree. It is important to. I mean, there's a lot of music gets created. It's hard to create something really good. Okay, and I'm not. And sometimes you wonder if you ever do. So it is definitely it definitely is important that and I had this conversation actually today with another one of our friends, Chris Faust, who's a beast.
He's a
Who's
great
a
guy.
beast. But I'm really I'm big on promoting my friends or people that I enjoy their work. Okay, in it's as simple as doing a story on Instagram or doing a post on Facebook, which that doesn't take much. Okay, I'm not patting myself on the back that I'm reinventing the wheel there, but it's easy to um, put a picture up, put some music up, and say, hey, go check this person out. But like I told Faust, I said I do that for the people whose stuff I really do like. Okay, or I send a message, just a direct message, say, hey, I enjoy this song. I think this song's great. Good job. Because I know everybody that does, and I only do it if I do really truly believe that. Okay, I don't do it just to blow smoke. Okay, it's got to be real. But I think if you really think that, you should tell somebody that, because this is such a hard, just this particular thing that we do. It's hard to know that if you're reaching somebody, or somebody feels what you're filling out onto the paper, or you sing it. It's good to hear that that you're touching somebody, and you need to have it, because we all have very fragile. I mean, my ego is not fragile at all, but I'm saying a lot of people have fragile egos, and they need to know that what they're doing is important, and that other people appreciate it, and in return, you should return the favor. You know what I'm saying? I mean, you build a community by um, letting everybody know that what they're doing is worth something. It is really worth something. That they're creating something of value that touches somebody. Because you got to write a song. All it has to do is touch one person, and you've done your job.
Yeah,
You know
there's
what
this
I mean?
ability to it. I think that's why artists, they connect so well. There's a really good chance that if you put two artists in a room, you know, they're going to meet on some level. I think actually, now that I say that, there's also that competitive aspect to artists sometimes, right? Especially when
Yeah.
you create the same kind of art as someone else. Um, yeah, there's definitely like a competitive nature. I feel like, not just in athletics, right, but also in art. Um,
And we had a question here from Mike in Manitoba. He wanted to. I don't know if you saw it, but he asked if writer's block is ever a problem if there's more than one writer in the room. Do you want to tell him how often it is a problem that there's be three or four of us and we're all like going like and usually it's over that last line of the song because you just want to get it right.
it's a different kind of writer's block, right? Because the writer's block that I used to associate before co-writing was when you stare at a blank paper and you're like, what do I write, right? And it's like that's a major writer's block. But in terms of what we do, Shane, and how we do it in a very kind of organized, prepared fashion, you're always going into the session with a creative idea that's worth chewing on, right? A concept, and
We
to
hope.
your
We hope. We we hope.
oh, we hope, yeah. Yeah, for sure. But the kind of writer's block that you're referring to definitely happens. But to your point, it's like it happens in one part of the song, like later on process, or like when you're being real choosy and editing and trying to like kind of figure out there's a better line we could be or something like that. Yeah.
Yeah, and I think the point to that is that it is such there's 40 songs on the chart every week, okay? And a lot of those songs are written by a handful of the same people, okay? So, you know, as outsiders, and we're outsiders. I mean, it's no shame. So if writers are in the same room, it's fisticuffs. Yeah, that's why, Mike. That's why we don't do it in the same room. Because,
Can I get the
um,
rap kit out of me?
hey, listen. My guys, my people that come over and follow from the podcast, from the Shadows podcast, they're characters. They like to, they
I
got
like
senses.
humor. I like his sense of humor.
Yeah, I know. Um, but you're competing at such a like there might be a sliver of a chance for outside writers to
Oh, yeah.
get even a chance to pitch a song, a legitimate chance to pitch a song to an artist that has the ability to get a top 40 song.
Right.
Okay.
Right.
And you have to make sure that every single line, every note,
Counts.
yes, counts more than you can even imagine. Or else, I'm not saying you're wasting your time, but if you want to reach the ultimate goal, which I think is we're all in this for ultimately, is you'd love to hear a song get played on the radio, or you'd love to, you'd like to reach that certain level of success, and it's tough. It's tough, and that's why we sweat over every little line and every little note, and I think that, and I've sent that song to you, the David Nail song, "Sound of a Million Dreams." I mean, that encapsulates writing a song that's going to touch somebody. I mean, as good as it gets, right there. I labor for hours because I know the power of a song when a song hits you right. I mean, that's it right there. But so I want to go back to the man that is Mike Cali. I want you to brag about yourself a little bit and tell everybody what your strength is. Like, what do you think the best thing that you bring to the table? If somebody wants to reach out to Mike Cali and write with him, what can they expect you to bring to the table?
That's always a hard question because I don't like tooting my own horn, but I do think it's really important, music, life, to understand what your strengths and what your weaknesses are. So I definitely am careful about taking inventory of that. And I think, we Mike, your buddy, made a funny comment about it coming to fisticuffs in the room, and I think it's really important for there to be different roles of the co-writers in the room. And I do feel after getting to close to 200 songs in 2 years, the majority of them co-writes, I've come to understand that I can kind of be a chameleon, and I can push the ball forward as kind of the alpha, um, let's get the song done. I don't think those are my best songs, but I think that I think that I can do that, and I think that comes from writing songs by myself. So I also can be, the editor. I can be the melody guy, right? I think that's my ultimate strength is melody. Um, but to answer your question in a more succinct way, what is my strength? I'm a chameleon, right? I can cover multiple parts. And when you're bringing a song to life, it's lyrics, it's melody, and then you have to also present it. You have to produce the song. I've also become somewhat of a poor man's producer. I'm on my way, but I also contribute that to the table. I wouldn't say that's my ultimate strength, but definitely something that I aspire to be able to um, get to, right? To be able to create a polished demo. Um, so yeah.
Yeah, I mean, now I'll brag on you then, since you just kind of didn't want to come out and say how really good you are at some stuff. But like for my money, you're like one of the best melody guys, girls, whatever. You're one of the best, you're one of the best melody co-writers that, I've worked with, like always know that now I do know what your real strength is, like the country pop sort of thing. So I know what ideas to bring in, to you because I know what's going to be in your wheelhouse. You know what I'm saying? And I think that's important too. Is as a co-writer, know what your co-writer's strengths are and put it on a tee for them. I want you to be the most successful person you can be. So I'm not going to bring you like a polka song and say, hey, let's write a polka song, because you're going to be, I don't know how to do it. I know you try, right? But I think you got to understand, what the people you're working with, what their strengths are too, and help them out as far as that goes. So
Yeah, that means a lot coming from you. I appreciate it. And you don't really give me compliments very often. You like to bust my chops very frequently.
And that's my strength, busting your chops.
I want to say on a serious note, because you definitely won't let me get this in. Like you never, you always don't like to hear the great things about yourself, but you know how to. I'll say very simply, you know how to write a great song, and that withstands the test of time. You know what makes a song work, and whether your compass is much better than mine in terms of foreseeing a couple steps ahead. It might take me a couple seconds to understand whether that's a good idea, whether that will translate into a song. But you have a great sense for what makes a good song work. And I appreciate that about you as a co-writer. So
I appreciate you saying that, but I'm going to let you in a little secret. It's just I'm better at convincing you that the idea is a good song rather than really having it be.
There is a sales component, right? There is.
There is.
A lot about. I had a good friend who's a producer. He works out in LA, and he's had some success. And I always noticed that about him. He knows how to. It's so powerful. He knows how to amp up a room. He knows how to get people excited, get them behind the idea, get the ball moving forward, and to just get it done. Which something I struggled with big time before it's stumbling into co-writing. Right, was I treated the songs too preciously. I was like, oh, it's not done yet. Oh, it's not done yet, right? And we talked about like the David Dale song and like how you want to eke out the best words and the best phrases, but at the same time, it's a quantity game, right? Do you agree with that?
Yes and no. I understand the people that live in Nashville have pub deals. And yeah, they got to crank out songs because that's what they're getting. They're getting paid to do that. Okay.
Right.
I can't believe that every song, and I know every song they write's not great. Okay. There's no way. And I think they would even tell you that. Just based on my life and my schedule and the time that I have and I put a lot of time. I think I put a lot more time in the writing than I have in the last, the 8 or 9 years before that, just because it's more accessible. Mm-hmm. But I almost think that, I don't really want to come to the co-write or come to a write unless I have an idea that I think if we nail it is something that we can pitch to anybody.
They don't tell you that in the beginning of songwriting. You're it's a muscle. You got to write as much as you can.
Yeah.
But I agree with you totally that you get to a certain point where you write so many songs. You're like, I'm only going to write when it's worth writing the song. When if you have the concept that's worth building out the entire song, right? And you probably don't a lot of songs, but I'm with you.
Now that being said, you do have to write if you're going to be a writer, and it doesn't matter if you're going to be a songwriter, a book writer, write a blog, whatever. And it goes for anything that you want to do. You have to do it every day in some form or fashion, whether it's you write down one line, okay? Whether you write down one line or whatever, you have to do something every day, okay? To keep, because you know that one line might lead to five, might lead to something, but you have to work at it every day. Now, I'm not saying I don't write something every day. I do write something, but I'm to the point where, my buddy David Wade so famously has told me that I forget who it was. It's a real famous old school producer told him, like, you got to write 100 bad songs. You got to get them out of the way because they're there. They're in there. You just got to get them out.
I
It's
still
like
have,
100.
I have a lot of those. I can play you like 7.
It, yeah. And I remember when I first got started, like you think, oh my God, that's a great idea. I'm going to write that down. And I go back and look at that stuff and I was like, this is terrible. Now, there's usually a nugget in there that you can pull out and say, okay, let's take this and make another song out of this. There usually is that. But when you start, like I'm to the point, and it's because I don't I don't have a pub deal. I'm not getting paid to do this every day, or else it would be different. But I really try to pride myself on coming up with maybe 2 or 3 really good ideas every week that I can write down, go back to, and try to, because I don't want to come into a co-write with just one line. I want to come in with a concept that we can write around, So I couldn't do that every day. I couldn't do that every day because you need time, I think, to discover a cool idea. You know what I'm saying?
I don't write. It's impossible. I mean, like you said, we're not getting paid to do this every day, right? So it's very difficult to write a full song a day. But I definitely have that notepad going. It's on fire. I'm just keeping one-liners after one-liner, and you don't know what it's going to turn into. And we mentioned Marty Dodson and Clay Mills before. And in one of their books, I think it's Clay Mills that talks about training yourself to go about your day asking the question, can that be a song? 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 And like you listen to people talk, you listen to TV, you walk by someone, people that are talking, and you just hear and you train yourself to like ask that question. And it's very surprising how many ideas you can come up with by just saying, can that be a song? Can that be a song? And
listen,
those
we just wrote with Caitlin Lehner what I think is a really cool song, Sure Thing.
Oh yeah.
That if I think I put a clip up of that. I got that idea from, oh no, you're going to say.
I honestly can't remember the whole thing, but does that sound okay?
What? Sounds good enough to me. I don't know.
It was about mid-July. Summer was flying on by. When rolling down that Longer Drive, you bonfire light in the sky. So us swaying to a jazzy song, bringing a club and singing along. The Dodgers cat with a big pink boots, with something about her West Coast roots. Once a year she's in town for a couple of weeks, comes in like the tide and then she leaves. I never seen her way to California, I never left Tennessee. When the band was party dancing with her, I feel my toes in the sand of the ocean breeze. No, nothing ain't like it's certain, there ain't no guarantees. But I'm holding on tonight, holding on to my sure thing. It's a sure thing. That's all I can remember off the cuff.
But hey, that was great, by the way. And I don't want to say anything, but Caitlin sounds better on that first person.
A little bit better than that.
But so here's the example. That idea came. We were on vacation in the Outer Banks.
Yeah.
And that was the name of somebody's boat, Sure Thing. And I saw it, and I'm like, wrote it down in a notebook. I'm like, I got to remember that. I got to remember that's got to be a hook or something. And so out of those two words, if I hadn't been driving down that road and had looked over and saw that, would I've ever thought of that title? Probably, I don't know, probably not. And that right there is the prime example of there's a song came out of those two words, and it wasn't fully formed, obviously. I didn't know what to do with it, but that is the magic. I think Nita probably she put somewhere that songs are magic, but that's the mag. I mean, that right there is the magic. You can take the two words, take it to your friends, and say, okay, here's what I think about this. How do we get there? How do we go from A to B and get
Right.
there?
Yeah, and you try yourself like, could that be a song? And had you not had that thought, it just would have passed with everything else. And
Like everything else does during the day. Just pass.
no, I'm happy that you did it because I think it turned into something pretty cool. I don't know if my off the cuff trying to remember the lyrics and stuff. But we turned it into a song about. First, it was sang solo, and then we turned it into a duet. And probably couldn't understand the lyrics. I wasn't even really probably saying all the right lyrics, but it's about a guy and a girl. The guy has a summer crush. He's from Tennessee. Never leaves, but there's a girl that comes to town, and ultimately she's the sure thing that they belong together. And
Because
that
she lives out in California on the beach.
right,
It's she's his like little and it's a fun not every song that we write is going to be heavy, and is going to be earth shattering. We want to write some stuff that is fun that somebody could write, be driving to the beach, singing that song, feel good about it. Like, you feel like when I hear that, I automatically, the sun's shining. Okay. And I know we're all getting ready to get hit by snow. Well, maybe not you in Philly. You guys are, but I hear that and I'm thinking, oh man, it takes me right. I'm right there in that song at the bonfire on the beach and stuff. So, and that's the whole point. That's what we're trying to do. So,
I got a question.
um,
I got a question for you. Did you? So you were just talking about how that song is like upbeat. It's fun. Um, as a lyricist, so you're solely a lyricist. Did you, when you first started writing, did you like stick to one type of song that you had in your mind? Because with my guitar, like for many years, when I would be so precious about my songs, they would all be ballads. They'd all be really slow, like about love and like really like. And
um,
realize that I have to break out of that. Right? There's time and place for that, but like as a writer, there's so much more to explore. Like, did you have the same kind of a first instinct to write only ballads as lyrics only?
well, obviously that's where you go to. Okay. Because I don't want to say it's the easiest, but that seems to be the most instinctual place to go to. I'm going to write a love song. I'm going to, write a
Right.
sad song or something about that.
Sure.
But I will tell, in me not being able to sing a lick, play a lick of music, okay, it wasn't until my good friend Levi Riggs, who's a really good artist, um, he's got a new song out now called "Put Put Some Whiskey on It." Okay, it's pretty, you know, really good song, and he's probably one of my favorite guys in the music business. Okay, he's the kind of guy like Mike Cali that you hope succeeds because they're so genuinely good dudes. Okay,
Right back at you,
but
Shane.
Levi gave me a tip, and he said, so if you take any song on the radio, okay, and you print out the lyrics and you stick to the blueprint of those lyrics, write your own lyrics, but you follow along with the beats in each line, okay, like the syllables or whatever. that anybody who can play music will be able to read your lyrics and have a melody and the music come to them in their head. Because as if it's already been done, then that recipe will work again. It'll just work in a different way, if that makes sense. So when I wrote this. So the very first, what I would call upbeat song I ever wrote was called "Make You Smile." Who the late great Nolan Neal. I ended up him and another really awesome dude, David Lotto. I got together and I wrote that, and I'm pulling back the curtain. You remember the Sam Hunt song, "Leave the Lights On" or whatever?
Sure, yeah, of course.
Right, right. And I thought that was a really cool melody. And I'm like, man, I'd like to write a song that sounded like that. So I wrote these lyrics to make you smile. Okay, and David Lotto over in Scotland does the melody, and I'm like, wait a second, that doesn't sound like "Leave the Lights," like the Sam Hunt song, but it worked because he could take what I wrote, he could hear it in his head or whatever, and he came up with this great melody. And then when I got together with Nolan in Nashville one time, he took the song then to a whole other level, and it was, but it was just based on Levi giving me that advice, and and as I've gotten more experienced, I understand the structure of songs. I still don't always understand at all how you guys with all the real talent are going to put a melody to it, because I can't always, convey what I'm hearing in my head to, and you know that because we've written, and I'm of no real help, but I try to write stuff that has a cadence to it, that when you guys doing melody and music can look at it, and it has something in your, you know what I'm saying?
I know
That's my little.
because our
You
process,
understand?
for people that don't know, Shane will send lyrics, and what he's saying is absolutely true. It's his lyrics; they almost beg for a melody. You almost hear the melody already. And I wrote a song this past weekend with a great writer up in upstate New York, north of New York City, Roberta Smithline, and she was trying to explain how she hears the melody. It's almost like you say the words, that the melody almost follows the same intonation. Like I just did intonation. There's actually music there. Intonation. It's like if you can think of the music, it kind of goes up. I think the technical term for it is called prosody. But Shane, when you send me lyrics, I could. It almost inspires the melody immediately, and I guess that's a gift of yours, or of any great writer.
It's a complete cheat. It's a complete cheat code provided to me by Levi Riggs. What are you talking about? It's all him. It is
Great,
all him. I mean,
great artists. Great artists borrow. No, I'm just kidding. Great artists, something like that.
I don't know.
I'll have to double check.
Well, so I mean, gosh, we've been on here for a long time,
Yes, we have.
and we thought we were only going to be in here for like 20 minutes. Um, the one I want to ask you, basically, one more question. So, what do you, Michael Wayne Cali, and I will tell everybody I call him Michael Wayne Cali because serial killers all have three names, and he's always just killing it. So that's why I call him Michael Wayne Cali, because he's just constantly killing it. Anyway, what are your goals? Like, so you see how much you have accomplished, just say in the last couple of years. Okay, what do you see or hope, or what are your goals in the next 2 to 5 years? Like, what would you say you would look back and say, okay, this has been a good couple of years. You'd be satisfied.
Yeah. Listen, along with you and some of our other co-writers, I feel like I'm writing some stuff that I'm proud of, building a catalog of songs, sharpening the tools, production-wise, writing-wise. Would love to move down to Nashville and increase the chances of collisions with the industry, and to make writing and making music more of a sustainable living. We all know how hard that is.
Yeah.
I feel somewhat called to do it, regardless of whether it turns into a sustainable career. It's something I'm going to be doing anyway, right? So I might as well go after it. Right? But yeah, so my goal is to ultimately write a song that's recorded by an artist, that's on the radio, right? What does that mean nowadays? Who the heck knows? Um,
Yeah. I know, you say that, and I'm thinking, well, Friedman, cut a couple songs. I don't want Friedman to get on here and be like, "Hey, look, what do you?" But he knows everybody's chasing the same thing, and he's a great artist in his own right, and I think the time will come for him that he'll be on the radio too.
oh yeah,
Like,
I'm very proud of the work that we've been able to do together, and I've known him for also like you, close to 2 years, and really proud to see what he's building himself. His following and the quality of music and his vocal delivery is unbelievable now. So it's, yeah, definitely worth checking out Matt Friedman's music. But I think the thing about goals is, like, I want to be really specific. And I think I fell into the trap just now of trying to, define what is success within music. But my goal, Shane, is to have a family, and it's to have a recording space in my house, where I can continue to make music I'm passionate about. And, I really believe in the power of a song. I think songs connect with people. And I think if I, am lucky enough to accomplish that goal of carving out a space to record music and to continue collaborating with good people like yourself, I think good things will happen. And so, yeah, that's my goal. It's to have a family and continue making music.
as an old guy, let me give you this piece of advice: get the recording studio first, and then get the family. because I'm not saying that that once the family comes, you might not. That might be a toy room or whatever. But get the recording studio. Now, is there any truth to the rumor that Mike Cali might be putting out some more of his own music as an artist in the near future?
If you asked me a year ago, I would say no. But yes, it is true. It's very true. Currently putting together another album, and I want it to be representative of who I am and where I am at this point in my life. You know, and representative of my taste right now in music. I think it's going to sound somewhere between, and I don't know if this will resonate with anyone out there, let us know in the comments, but somewhere between Steve Mokler and Nico Moon. So I want something upbeat, but ultimately some songs on there that are reflective of a little bit of introspection, which I'm a little guilty of time to time. So yeah.
Well, I would encourage everybody that if you want to go check out some of your stuff, you have a Spotify page that has your first EP up, right? You can check out
the SoundCloud. I have some of the demos up there. Some of the stuff that we wrote together, Shane, is up there. Your Place or Mine is up there. It's on SoundCloud. I think it's soundcloud.com/.
You put Your Place or Mine up there. All right, is there any truth that you're going to sing maybe the first verse and chorus of Your Place or Mine tonight?
Yeah, it'd be my honor. I'm a ham, man. Of course, I'd love to sing a little.
Sing that, then we'll tell everybody where they can check all your stuff out. And now, who wrote this with us?
This was Sam Davs from up in Cali. And this was also Matt Friedman.
Yeah, Friedman put his 2 cents worth in here. I mean, come on.
Yeah.
We're all over the place. This turned into the Matt Friedman show.
you want to hear just the verse and the chorus, huh? So this is called Your Place or Mine, and I think because we can say what the song's about, right? It's like
Yeah.
about going separate ways, when love turns sour, and you kind of have to divide up all the things, including memories, and so it's called Your Place or Mine. Well, I just walked in after she took half of everything to the place we went Friday night. We the bartender knew our drinks, in the jukebox heard us sing our song underneath the neon lights. Drinking us a radio. Too long I gotta give up my favorite bar. We used to love it here. Now I can barely face memories of us all over this place. Yeah, you used to be sitting right next to me. At the end of the night. Kiss me at the right this time. It was gonna be a place of mine. Used to love the two for once. Take a shot at having fun. But then you just broke happy hour. And the beer is all gone flat. I got no taste for Jim or Jack. You just made the whiskey sound. We used to love it here. Now I can barely think memories of us all over this place. Yeah, you used to be sitting right next to me. Pay attention, at the end of the night. The kids been still asking if you're on this time. If it's gonna be a place of mine. All these blessed, but I still can't see why. You left me wondering if it's your place or mine. We used to love it here. Now I can barely face memories of us all over this place. Yeah, you used to be sitting right next to me. Please help me at the end of the night. Kids being still asking if you're on this time. It's gonna be a place of mine. Your place is so mine. Your place is so mine. Your place is mine.
Bravo, Michael Wayne Cali. Bravo. No, that's, you know what? It's special getting to hear something that that you took part in writing from such a talented dude. Yeah. And here's the great thing is Sam tuned in at the very second when you
We channeled her. We totally channeled her. She's a writer. You should have a conversation with her, actually, now that it comes up. Now that I think of it. She'd make for a great guest.
Yeah, well, yeah. I mean, look, I heard from a lot of people, so hopefully we'll. I mean, she's a monster writer. She's kind of like low key stuff, but on our Halloween special, our podcast, From the Shadows, we played a song that she wrote that Nicole Ray up in Canada sang. It was called Cemeteries, maybe? I can't. It's terrible. I can't remember.
It's off the top of your head. Don't.
Yeah. People went nuts over it. people really dug it, and so she's my hat's off to her. She's a great writer. She just, thankfully, she's so humble. A graveyard,
Great.
there you go. See, cemetery, graveyard, okay, same thing, same thing. But no, it was, yeah, she's a pretty good writer. So yeah, we'll definitely have her. I'll sucker her into it too, just like I did you. So, but no, I think I, from you being the first official guest, I hope everybody dug it. We'll wait and see what the feedback is, and maybe we'll come back again in a couple weeks and do it with another one of our friends. Because I think we're all connected in one way or another. So tell everybody how they can find you and check out some more of your music.
Yeah, Shane, this is a blast. Thank you for this was a fun convo. They can click on my Instagram account. They can see another song that we actually wrote together. It's up there called Southernmost Sunday. It's one of the more songs I see. And then if they would like to check out some more demos that I've been creating recently on SoundCloud, Mike Cali on SoundCloud. Cool. But yeah, Shane, this was awesome. I had a blast, and I'll certainly be tuning in to check out more combos with our friends. It's awesome.
Yeah, I appreciate you. I appreciate you coming on. Now we're going to have to tell everybody to leave because you and I got to finish the song. we got
Right now, I was going to say, like, pull back the curtain, tell people the concept, and then maybe share like a story or something on what we come up with. If they want to check back at our stories later. It won't be
you want to
verse and a chorus. It's a great concept in my opinion.
do we want to tell them what we're going to work on, just to kind of what it's called? Or?
I think Shane came up with a fantastic concept about it's a love song, right? It's a love song. And
Yeah, well, it's a song of endearment towards somebody, showing somebody how much you appreciate them, so to speak. Right. Yeah, I don't want to say love. But
do we not want to say anything else, or do we want to at least give a title, like a concept title, and then just see what we come up with, and then post a story of a couple 30 seconds of it or whatever we come up with.
Okay, the idea is like the hook that we are working with is called 1,000 Smiles. Okay, and it's based on it's taken from a real conversation of somebody that I know that was having a bad day, and I just merely said, the world's a better place with you smiling. I'm sure you're going to get one. You're going to create 1,000 smiles today, and just words of encouragement. I sat back and I'm like, wow, I think that's a song idea. And so the concept we're working with is you want to tell somebody that how beautiful basically how beautiful they are inside and out by saying, their smile means so much to you and to the world that they're going to cause 1,000 smiles during the course of the day, as long as I get the first one and I get the last one every day. So that's the concept we're working with. So
what do I know? But yeah, I think it's got legs.
I think it fits the Michael Wayne Cali brand. That's what I think.
Well, I mean, if people want to check in at our stories in a couple hours, we'll post whatever we come up with. We literally haven't even started, so.
No, we haven't even started.
Yeah.
So yeah, you guys are all going to have to leave because we got to get to work. So, but I appreciate everybody that tuned in and whoever's going to watch this, if somebody watches it later on, and drop us a line, shoot us a message. We'd love to hear from everybody. So, thanks again, man.
Thanks again, Shane. I'll see you soon.
Now I got to figure out how to turn this off and not delete the video. So, all right.
Thank you.
Yeah. Bye.